Hello everyone, this is Josh from Riscos and Wrenches. In front of me, as you guys can tell, is a hunk of what was a really cool Camaro at one point. Now sadly, you guys do know the story on this thing. It got in a fight with a bulldozer, a skid loader or something, and completely lost it. We cut this thing in half in the last episode to get the motor and transmission and everything out where I can pull those parts off of. We pulled the rear end out of this thing, which will be shown in this video, and we'll be cutting off the rear end for a little wall hanger. Now, I did record a intro for this video, but because of the wind and everything, I couldn't really understand anything at all, so I put my microphone in a different spot. I'm hoping that this comes through a little bit better, but I'm going to record a little intro and an outro for this video, and I will show you guys everything we have done to this thing to get it ready to meet its final resting place, the scrapyard. There's nothing coming back from there. It's not a junkyard, it's a scrapyard. This thing's going to get cubed up and turned back into junk metal. Now, it is a sad ending for this car, but there was not much we could do for this thing. As you guys saw how badly it was just tweaked up, folded up. There was no saving this car, but at least its heart and soul will beat along in our 1964 Chevy Chevelle. Now let's get into it here. We're going to pick up right where we left off, cutting this thing in half, flipping it over, and getting ready to cut the rear end off this car. Cutting the rear end off this car for a wall hanger was actually a pretty long process. It was multiple weeks of just cutting and grinding and sawing and everything like that. So we're going to get into it right here. And now we're going to pull the rear end out of this car, and that's going to be the last thing that is worth saving on this thing. There's not much else. I mean, obviously this thing's rusty. Fuel tank's rusted out. The muffler's rusted out. The drive shaft, I did save that. I don't know if I'm going to need it. I might be able to sell it and make some money back. But the rest of this stuff is going off to the junkyard. about to do something that's very stupid. It's either going to work really well, or I'm going to end up in the hospital. The hospital. Hey! Well, and with that, there's nothing left of this old Camaro. Rest of this stuff's going off to the junkyard. Oh, come on, focus. You can do it now. Rest of this stuff's going off to the junkyard. I mean, if you want a rusted out muffler or a gas tank that's spewing fossilized goo or a broken shock absorber, make sure to hit me up before it goes to the scrapyard. But that's the rear end. What's left? There's nothing left that's good on there. And if we walk over to here, here's our pile of things I took off. Rear end, drive shaft, this whole front subframe and everything. I'm going to keep this. I've got to pull the steering box out of it because that Chevelle right there that we're putting it into doesn't have power steering. The disc brake front end, the motor, the master cylinder for the brakes, the transmission cross member, all that stuff's right here. So I figured I'd just pull this whole thing out, leave it until I pull it all apart. Back here is all the good or cool things I saved from it. Nose cone, tail cone that we just pulled off right there. That horribly mangled door that'd make a great wall hanger, a seat. The trunk lid over there. I mean, all this stuff right here is probably just going to get hung up in my shop. Just as a little memento to what happened to this old Camaro and the fact that it gave its life for our beautiful Chevelle. Well, that was it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. The next time you see this thing, it's going to be off to the scrapyard and we'll be putting this thing to rest in its final resting place. We've gotten everything we possibly could off this car. Motor, transmission, brakes, wiring, rear end, both front and rear nose cones. I mean, there's just nothing left on this car to really save at all. Now, if you guys liked the video, make sure to hit like, subscribe, share it around. You know, anybody who likes cars, point them over to the channel. I will always take a few extra views. We are super close to being monetized, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bye-bye. Among Us. Dreams are made of these. I didn't want to be the guy that, you know, filmed random children without their consent. That'd probably put me on a watch list somewhere.